Welcome, my friends, to another edition of the Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel. I came across this article yesterday in Money Magazine online, and I just cut and pasted because it's always a pain to look at a website on the while you're doing a web tutorial here, a YouTube channel. But it's very interesting to me because it says, "Is Social Security taxed? Here's what you need to know." So let's go. Let me minimize myself here. I go to the my Google Docs of this, and we're going to talk about it because, as you know, if you've been following my channel at all, the taxation of Social Security is a pet peeve of mine. I think it's completely irresponsible how few people know how Social Security is taxed, and it actually drives me up the wall. Because once you start filing for Social Security, the chances are it's going to be too late for you to make any strategic changes to your income streams, which will reduce the taxes not only for you, but for surviving spouse as well. Go to my webinars on my book, 21 Reasons You Need a Roth IRA. I talk all about this, the strategies you need to implement now to avoid the taxation that you're going to face once you hit 70 and a half, but more importantly, the taxation the bomb that you're going to leave to your surviving spouse is just, it's irresponsible that Congress hasn't changed the law for this, in my opinion. And I'm going to beat that hammer down, boom, 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 until something happens. Either you are educated or Congress pulls their head out of where and changes the law. Because again, the issue is more and more middle and lower class people, and widows are getting sucked into paying taxes they were completely ignorant about in their working lives when they could have made a difference in how they manage their assets. But because no one told them, now they're 72 years old and they're stuck and there's not a doggone thing they can do, and it ticks me off. So anyway, all right, I will try not to be angry. I want to be happy because more people watch when you're happy. All right. So we're going to talk about this article here. It's written by a lady named Martha White, who's got some chops in terms of writing for things. Slate, New York Times, MSNBC, so we can see where she's coming from. But this one seems to be a non-political article. I imagine some for other articles are not like that. But hey, for what it's worth here, we'll talk about this. If you're planning on drawing Social Security in the near future, you might be wondering, is it taxed? In fact, if you go to Google and you type in, "is Social Security taxed?" there's an insane amount of search engine topics on that. So lots of people are asking that exact question in the Google search results. And it's actually amazing. So I'm glad that people are asking. Hopefully they're getting the information they need to hear. And unfortunately, what I've found is most articles don't share that information very well. This article does, but it's just a tiny in-passing reference to one of my pet peeves, which we'll share here in just a second. Tax experts say it's an important question, especially because maybe baby boomers who are already receiving Social Security benefits are also in the workforce and earning income. All right, so just real quick. Now, go back to my video I just did a few days ago on Social Security. If you're earning an income and you're taking Social Security before your full retirement age, you do not lose those dollars that are withheld from you. They give them back to you once you hit 66 or 66 and 4 months or 67, whatever your full retirement age. If you are working before your full retirement age and drawing Social Security, you will get a reduced benefit from your PIA, I guarantee you, but the reduction of the benefit due to your employment will be paid back to you in a higher monthly income once you hit Social Security full retirement age. Remember that. Has nothing to do with losing money permanently. I cannot stress that enough, and I wish they would have pointed that out a little bit better here, but they didn't, so I'm doing it for you. Now, if you take Social Security before full retirement age, you will get a reduced benefit. That's a fact. Those will not be made up. You will permanently get a reduced benefit, but you will not get a permanent reduction in your benefit from working. That's not what causes your reduction in benefit. What causes your reduction from benefit is taking it before your full retirement age. This is good to know. I like this one right here. This guy says, Gil from the Tax Institute at H&R Block, Social Security benefits are not taxable until their income reaches a certain level, which depends on your tax status. So 25,000 is single, 32,000 married filing jointly, and anything above that, it goes 25 to 34 if you're single, 32 to 44 if you're married, That's the beginning threshold, and that's called provisional income, which one guy makes mention of how you determine that here. And I have lots of videos on how to determine provisional income. This is the big one. If you currently draw income from a retirement account or pension, you could have to pay taxes on some of your Social Security benefits. Another reason is, okay, I don't care about the part-time job, but you could pay taxes on some of your Social Security benefits just because of the required distributions. Even if they're not required, frankly, even if you're under 70 and a half and you're getting $40,000 a year from your distributions from retirement accounts, I assure you, you're going to pay taxes on your Social Security. It's absolutely correct. Actually, it is. I do want to revisit this. If you're still working, or if you are working, still or not, you will pay tax as well, potentially, on your Social Security, because you have to look at all your combined income and your marital status. So your combined income, and this is the guy who I appreciate, Mark Jaeger, I'm not sure how you say his last name, Yager, like Jaromir Jagr, who plays hockey. Mark Yager, we'll call him Yager. To find out your combined income for calculating Social Security taxes, add your AGI, that's all the money you make, your retirement distributions, that is your part-time work, driving Uber, you're digging ditches for a living, planting trees for a nonprofit, whatever. Take that income plus your distributions from your IRAs and whatnot, plus any non-taxable interest you earned over the course of the year, and half of your Social Security benefits. Why am I pausing there? Because I've been in this business so long, folks, I can't tell you how many people think their tax-exempt interest is truly tax-exempt. And again, I repeat this so I'm blue in the face. Your tax-exempt interest is tax-exempt from income tax, but it puts you in Social Security taxation. If you have nothing but tax-exempt interest and Social Security benefits, and yet the half of your benefits is, let's say, it's $20,000 in Social Security, and you have $40,000 of tax-exempt interest, you have a provisional income of $60,000, which means you're going to pay taxes on your Social Security. And you can say all day long, but tax-exempt interest is tax-exempt. It's tax-exempt from income tax on that interest. It's not tax-exempt from Social Security taxation. It will put you in a higher taxation for Social Security. That's a fact. And this guy says it, thankfully, Mr. Mark there. The problem is they just pass it by in passing. That's all they talk about. It drives me crazy. That's it. That's just a brief mention. If you read his article just real quick, you'll notice that it doesn't jump out at you unless you're intuitively looking for that. And hopefully this website, my YouTube channel, will help you be intuitive on that. The gist is if you're already single with income over $25,000 or a combined income of over $32,000, we talked about that, but that gives you in the first threshold of your Social Security taxation from what we talked about before when Ronald Reagan signed that law in 1983. It had a provision in the tax code that if you have $25,000 as a single taxpayer and $32,000 as a married taxpayer, you are going to pay taxes on a portion of your Social Security. Clinton added to that tax bill in 1993 that says if you're over $34,000 in combined income as a single taxpayer or $44,000 as a married taxpayer, you are now in the 85% threshold of how much you'll have to pay in taxes on Social Security. So just remember, you'll never pay more than taxes on 85% of your benefit. You'll never pay more than that on 85% of your benefits. So if you have, $50,000 of benefits, I don't even know what that'd be. That'd be 30,000 something, 27,000 roughly right there. You'll never pay tax on more. No, it'd be 45,000, I guess, right about 45,000, 43,000. If you have more than 85, you'll never pay more tax than on 85% of your benefit. I just can't do the math in my head that quickly, even though I do have my trusty calculator. If you have $50,000 of Social Security tax, you will never pay more than you'll never pay tax on more than $42,500 of your benefit. Should have done that to begin with. For anyone using tax prep software, the program will automatically figure out how much you owe in Social Security tax. And that's great. I'm glad they do that. But the problem is, what were they doing before? What was happening before this? This is just reactionary. This is saying this happened in the past. Now you owe on this. Well, what was a proactive work to tell you about that from the past? So I'm telling you, if you are 55, 60, up to 60, and you haven't done any proactive tax planning, shoot, even at 50 years old, you got to start doing it now. And there'll be other examples where I show you the huge consequence of not doing it. And unfortunately, TurboTax, are they telling you as a 50-year-old married couple, hey, you might want to start thinking of some other tax ramifications for when you start taking Social Security? And the answer is no, because I'm telling you, if you have a sizable IRA or 401k or 403b with sizable RMDs, required minimum distributions, you're going to pay more and more and more in taxes on the RMD, but also on your Social Security benefit. Now you die, you leave it to your spouse. Your spouse is going to pay more because now she's no longer married, filing jointly, which is I've said a million times. But so she loses your standard deduction. Her tax bracket goes up from usually 12 to 22%, simply on the same amount of income. But also now, if she was making $25,000, if she was making $33,000 in Social Security, or $32,000 of a combined income, what's called provisional income, she wasn't paying tax while she was married to you, but now because it's over $25,000, she is. The same exact amount of money will increase her taxes on Social Security. It'll increase her taxes because her standard reduction is reduced by half, and her income tax bracket has gone up from 12 to 22% or whatever it is. The same amount of income. It's crazy, and it's just annoys me. All right, so let's see. The good news here is that no more than 85, we already talked about, no more than 85% of your Social Security benefits will be taxed. Still, it's good to keep those income thresholds in mind if you plan on working in retirement. I get the work and retirement thing. I just, at the end of the day, I'm more worried about the tax exempt interest, and I'm certainly more worried about your required minimum distributions. And the author here, Miss Martha, made no mention of either of those, but she did, to her credit, the one guy from Tax Act did mention tax exempt interest goes into your combined income, what I call provisional income, which subjects potentially your Social Security to be taxed. So just more education that needs to be done. Do me a favor. If this makes sense, comment on it. If it doesn't make sense, put in the comments, please, because if I'm not making sense what I'm trying to say in terms of trying to enlighten you on the taxes you pay on Social Security, that's my error. I need to be better at it if I'm not making sense. If I am making sense, just give me a thumbs up for sure, so I know, hey, that's pretty good. At the end of the day, if you are in your 50s right now, you need to be doing proactive tax planning, especially if you're married. There's no getting around that. If you're married in your 50s, you need to be doing proactive tax planning. So comment below, subscribe, absolutely subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification button, that little bell there, so be notified on more content I do here in the future. And go to my website, heritagewealthplanning.com. Getting ready to roll that guy out here in the next, probably today or tomorrow, as a matter of fact. So hit my website, and look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Heritage Wealth Planning. Thanks, guys.